Now, if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you might remember this spot. The last time I was here, I was doing a portrait shoot right as I started my YouTube channel. And I recently found out that there is a chance that this place might be going out of business if they don't sell the business or find a new owner by the end of the year. Now, this place is near and dear to my heart because my dad and I used to come here a lot and eat together. That was before he passed away. So when I found out there was a chance that this place might be closing down, I decided to come here and take some photos. That was the other morning, and the photos were decent, but the lighting was not the best, so I decided it would probably be a better idea to come here while it's backlit. And while I was here taking photos, it got me thinking about why I actually take photos. When I shot that video here in the past, it was probably about a month before my dad passed. So being here now, it feels like the photos I shoot here take on a whole new meaning. Now, I'm gonna keep taking photos before I lose too much light, but after that, I'll head back and we can dive in deeper into what photography means to me. And one last shot with the Dispo lens. All right, where was I? I think as photographers, everyone has their own unique reason for taking photos. But I just want to know what got you to the point to where taking photos with your phone was not enough and it made you want to go out and buy a camera. Personally, for me, I've always been a very artistic person. From a very young age, I always loved to draw, so as I got older and I picked up a camera, I think it was a very natural progression for my creativity. And for many years, I simply shot photos for the sake of taking photos that I thought looked good, with no deeper meaning behind it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So if you like taking photos just for the simple sake of taking photos, I think that's as viable of a reason as any other. I always felt like there was something missing from my photography, and I wasn't really sure what that was until my dad passed away. It was a great reminder that nothing lasts forever and that the world is constantly changing and evolving. And as photographers, I feel like it is our responsibility to preserve these things in our images. And I think that applies to all photography, whether you just like walking around taking photos of the world around you, or even commercial photography. Because I'm sure each and every one of us at some point or another has found an old magazine and flipped through it and paid attention to how products or even the art of photography itself has evolved and changed over time. And I think wildlife photography is another great example, because if you've ever seen a photo of an old extinct animal, like a Tasmanian tiger, for example, I think it's so interesting to look at, because you look at the image of the Tasmanian tiger, because you can only imagine what that animal would look like in color, shot with a camera as new as this. So whether you realize it or not, every photo you take is documenting history. Now, whether you actually care about that aspect or not, to me, that's what makes photography so cool and exciting. And I love photographing old cars that are rusting away. I often wonder what the story is behind that car, like who drove it and where it's been. And there's like a shroud of mystery behind it that I'll never know the answer to, but I think that's half the fun. Now, I've spent the last couple years working on a photo project documenting North Carolina, getting away from the bigger cities and focusing on the smaller towns, which feel like they're stuck in a simpler time. I decided to make that an official project that I was working on because I noticed my photography naturally started to develop and grow in that direction. And it happened after my dad passed away. And I think the reason for that is because these photos of these places, they remind me of my dad. To me, these pictures evoke a different feeling that my previous work did not, that I personally feel like aligns with my growth, not just as a photographer, but as a person. In the past, it felt like much of my photography was calculated and driven by what would perform well on Instagram. And I still love those photos, but now that photos are not what performs best in the Instagram algorithm, I find myself not caring as much about getting those banger shots. And I hate that I even cared about that in the first place. I remember when I started taking photos, my dad asked me, "What do you want to take photos of?" And I told him that I liked taking photos of people. And he responded saying, "Nobody wants to see pictures of people. People want to see photos of landscapes and cars." And I told him to stop being so narrow minded. Just because that's what you want to see doesn't mean that's what everyone else wants to see. And I think it's pretty funny that as I get older, I'm kind of starting to grow and move in that direction. And while I still love photographing people, I think I'm starting to love photographing landscapes and old buildings and old cars just as much. So as I get older, I guess I'm starting to grow more and more like my pops every single day. And with that, I have one question for you. Why do you take photos? So thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to help support the channel. And I hope I can inspire you guys to get out and take more photos. Go out and shoot.